Okay, so have you ever felt like, you're drowning in diapers and sleepless nights, and
Yeah.
suddenly your partner, feels more like a roommate
Oh, yeah.
than like your soulmate?
Totally.
Yeah. So we are diving deep today into How Not to Hate Your Husband After Kids
Okay.
by Jancee Dunn, to figure out how to not just survive, but like thrive
Right.
as a couple after having kids.
I love that book. It's so funny, and she's brutally honest.
Oh, totally. And she really kind of pulls no punches.
No, she doesn't.
Like she's
Yeah.
really honest about her own experience. So, and I think that's what makes it so great. Is
Yeah.
that, she talks about, feeling like she lost a part of herself
Mm.
amidst like all the demands of motherhood, and how that, obviously impacted her relationship.
Yeah, it's like we're not going to get any sleep.
Right.
We're going to be tired, but we don't expect this like identity shift.
Yeah, totally. Like you don't really think about that beforehand.
Yeah.
So how does that play out like for other couples? Like what did she find in her research?
Well, a lot of couples just don't acknowledge those feelings.
Hmm.
Like it's almost like
Does?
they're taboo or something, and so
Mhm.
they end up blaming each other for it,
Oh, wow.
which of course just makes more distance.
Right.
So I think the key is to like give
Yep.
yourself permission to have those feelings
Totally.
and then talk to your partner without judgment.
Okay, so communication is key here,
Yeah.
which is, and not surprising, but she gives this one communication tip
Yeah.
that it just resonated with me and I think is really useful, which is validate, don't fix.
Yes.
Which is like, I feel like as women, we often, especially, I'm speaking from personal experience, but,
Right.
often we just want someone to listen to us
Yes.
and not try to fix it. And so it can be very frustrating when, your male partner is like, oh, well, here's the solution to your problem. And you're like, I don't want you to solve
Yes.
my problem right now.
Exactly. Just
I
listen.
just want you to like hear me.
Yeah, and empathize.
Exactly. So do you think, it sounds so simple.
Yeah.
Like, can that really make a difference?
It really can.
Yeah.
She actually interviewed a lot of marriage therapists
Okay.
who said that even like tiny little tweaks in your communication can just make a huge impact.
Wow.
And, when you feel heard, you feel understood, it de-escalates the conflict.
Yeah.
And it makes room for empathy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that brings us to another, I think, really interesting
Yeah.
point that she brings up, which is the division of labor, which I think
Yeah.
any parent out there knows that's like a major, major source of tension
Oh, yeah.
in any relationship. And she actually has this really funny anecdote about
Yeah.
creating a chore spreadsheet with her husband.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
So they like assign points to each task
Uh-huh.
based on like difficulty and time commitment.
Yeah.
And then they aim for an equal
Wow.
point total each week.
That's commitment.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because it's like,
Right.
how do you actually like quantify
Exactly.
and make it fair?
Yes.
When it does feel like so much of, especially for mothers,
Yeah.
like so much of like the mental load and all of that, like how do you,
It's invisible.
it's so invisible. And so I think she does a really good job
Yeah.
of trying to bring that to light and be like, okay, well, how do we actually like make this fair
Right.
in a way that like both partners feel like they're contributing equally?
Well, and I think that's a good example of moving beyond the vague agreements
Oh,
that
yeah.
we often make to something more concrete, where you
Right.
can be like, oh, okay, I see
Yeah.
like how much you're doing,
Yeah.
and this is how much I'm doing, and we can make it more equitable.
Exactly.
And, what she found in her research was that couples who do that report feeling way less resentful
Okay.
and overwhelmed.
Which makes sense. Okay, so
Yeah.
even with good communication
Right.
and a fair division of labor,
Yes,
disagreements are going to happen.
of course.
So how does she suggest couples handle,
Right.
those inevitable conflicts?
Well, she has a whole section about fighting fair.
Okay.
And one of the techniques I really liked is called mirroring,
Okay.
which basically means like reflecting back what you've heard
Got it.
to make sure you're both on the same page. So it's like,
Okay.
what I'm hearing you say is that you're feeling really overwhelmed
Okay.
because you're doing bedtime solo 3 nights a week. Is that right?
Oh, I see. So it's like
Yeah.
really clarifying
Yes.
and making sure
Ex-
you're
ex-
both understanding
You're both on the same page.
what the other one is saying.
Exactly.
So it's not about like avoiding arguments altogether.
No, no.
It's about like you're going to have arguments. It's how you handle them.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so Does she provide any research or any, like,
Yeah.
anything to back that up?
Yeah, she actually cited studies that show that couples who communicate well during disagreements
Okay.
have higher levels of relationship satisfaction.
Interesting. So it's like,
It's counterintuitive.
it is counterintuitive because you think like, oh, if we're fighting, that means
Yeah,
we're not doing well.
exactly.
But it's like, it's the way you
It's how you fight.
approach the fight.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. All right, so we've talked about acknowledging emotions,
Right.
improving communication, dividing the tasks fairly, and like
Mhm.
fighting fair. Is there anything else couples can do to,
Yes.
strengthen their bond?
This is like so important.
Yeah.
And I think we all like know this, but we don't do it. She
Mhm.
says you have to prioritize
Yes.
the couple relationship.
Even amidst like the chaos
Yes. In the middle of it all,
of having little kids,
you got to keep dating.
keep dating, yeah, which can
Yeah.
feel awful.
Oh, impossible. Right.
But even just like 10 minutes at the end of the day
Yeah,
to connect.
totally. And it's so easy to let that stuff
I know, you're exhausted.
go. Right.
Yeah.
You're exhausted. You're just like trying to keep
Yeah.
the tiny humans alive.
Right.
So, but why does she think it's so crucial?
Because it reminds you why you fell in love
Yeah,
in the first place.
totally.
You have to nurture that connection,
Uh-huh.
and that's what will give you the strength to deal with all the other stuff.
So it's like the big takeaway here is that, parenthood can be tough on a relationship,
Yeah,
but it doesn't have to be, a recipe for disaster.
right.
With awareness, communication, and effort, couples can not only
Survive.
survive, but like thrive.
Thrive, yeah.
Okay, so that's great. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
I would just say, remember, you're on the same team, you and your partner.
Yeah,
Like, you're in this together.
love that.
And investing in your relationship
Yeah.
is investing in your family. That's a great point to ponder
Yeah.
for everyone out there. And if you want more of Jancee Dunn's, wisdom,
Yeah. Check out her book.
definitely check out her book. She's got a lot of great stuff in there.
She does.
So until next time, keep diving deep
Keep diving.
into all the things.
Yes.